Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel A in Economist. So today what we are going to do, we will talk about one of the most important built-in data types in Python, which is known as Python lists. Right? So today we'll see how to create Python lists, and we will see also what are the different operations that you can do using this Python list. So let us start. Let us start by creating a new notebook. This is how you create a new Python notebook. Let me rename it first, Python class 3. So before that, I have made 2 videos on Python. If you haven't watched those videos, please do that. There I have shared the basics, and today we'll start with the built-in data types in Python. So let us see how to do that. Python lists. Right? So let me write the definition first. What is a list in Python? Lists are used lists are used to store multiple items in a single variable. So what is a list? List in Python means it is a built-in data type. It's a variable that stores multiple items in a same place. Basically, it's a single variable that stores multiple items. Basically, in Python, lists are one of the 4 built-in data types. One of the 4 built-in data types that are used to store collections of data. What are the other built-in data types? The other 3 are tuple, then you have sets, and then you have something called dictionary. And I'll discuss each of them in some later video. Today we'll only talk about lists, right? Lists are created. How do you create a list? Lists are created using square brackets, right? Lists are created using square brackets. Let me create a list for you. Say I call this my list. This is a variable, and then how do you assign the value? Start a square bracket and simply add the item. Suppose I call this Anushka is the first item, comma, put the second item. Suppose I call it Ria. Ria is the second item. And then you have a third item, say Dia. Dia is the third item. Suppose. So in this list, you have these 3 items. So this is a list. This is the structure of the list. My list is the variable name. My list is the variable name, which can take these 3 values. Anushka is one value, Dia is one value, Dia is another value. So you have 3 items in a list. The variable is single. Using this single variable my list, you can refer to these 3 items, right? Now you can print this my list here. So see what will happen. So if you print this list, you will get all the items that are there in this particular list, right? Now list can take not only the string values, these are string values. Anushka is a string value, Dia is a string value, Dia is a string value. Instead of string, you can take other values also. Numerical values can also be taken. Boolean values can also be taken. Let me create another list. Suppose my list 1. And here you write, say I write apple. Apple is a string. Then you write a number, say 34 is a number, and then you write true. True is a Boolean value. And then you print my list 1. If you do that, see, this is also valid. So you can, at the same time, simultaneously, you can, take the item to be a string item or an integer or a Boolean item, right? This is valid. Now there are certain rules. Now there are certain rules that you have to follow. Rules, or let me call them features. Rules or features of list items. So let me write them down. What will be the rules? List items are list items are ordered, changeable, and they allow duplicate values. Right? So these are the basic features of a list. And when I'll discuss what is tuple, what is set, and what is dictionary, I'll give you what will be the difference of these, on the basis of these basically features or rules, we will distinguish all the data types, remaining data types, right? So list items are ordered, they are changeable, and they allow duplicate values. Ordered means that every item has a different index number, and we can access those items on the basis of those index numbers. So they are ordered on the basis of their index numbers, and they are uniquely identified on the basis of their index number, and we'll see how to access the items basically. Now they are changeable. We will also see how to add new values or new items into the list, and how to subtract values from the list. Also, they allow duplicate values. So in the same list, you can allow duplicate values. For example, here, if instead of Ria, I again write Anushka, so see, and then you print, then there is no issue in that. You can allow duplicate values. Anushka can take, can be in the item 2 times, right? Now, list items, as I have told you, they are indexed. List items are indexed. The first item has index 0, right? Has the index 0, and the second item has index of 1. So basically, we'll start from the 0 index, the first item. So if you see this particular list that I have given you, this particular list, if you consider, then Anushka has the index of 1. This Anushka is the first item, index is basically 0, and then here you have 1, and here you have 2. Similarly, if you see this particular list, my list 1, if this is the list, then here Apple has the index of 0, 34 has the index 1, and True has the index of 2, right? So in this way, you have the index of the items that are there in the list. Now, how do you determine the length of the list? Length can be found out using the len function. So let me do it. List length. So what will be the length of the list? Suppose consider this my list 1. So simply write print the length, and here you have my list 1. If you do that, see, the length of the list is 3. Length is simply the number of items that are there in the list. Using the len function, you can simply do that. Now let us see the next thing that we can do, that is how to access the individual items in the list. Access items in a list. How do you access items in a list? Let me make a list. Suppose the list is fruit, and in this list you have apple, you have banana, and suppose you have cherry. So this is the list that you have, And then what do you want to do? You want to access each of these items. As I have told you, each of the item will be, identified using the index that it has. So how do you do that? Print, then write the list, and then index. So if I want to access the first one, I'll write simply this print, and then you have fruit. For the second item, you have this print fruit. For the third item, you have this. Now let's run this. See, in this fashion, you can individually access each of the items in your list. So fruit is the variable list name basically, and this list has three particular items. Apple is the first item which has an index of 0. So if you write this, you will access this apple here. Now similarly, this is for banana and this is for the cherry. Right? So these are the three things that you can do. Now negative indexing is also possible. See, for negative indexing, this last item will have an index of -1. Here you have an index of -2, and here you have index of -3. So in this way also you can access print, then you write fruit, and then index is suppose -1. So if you run this, you will get cherry. So as I have told you, this particular item has an index of -1. Similarly, you can do this for -2. You will have banana, and now you can do this for -3. You will have apple. Right? So negative indexing can also be used. Also, you can access some range of values. So consider this particular list only. Fruit is apple, banana, and cherry. You want to access only the first two things. So what do you write? Print, and then the list name, fruit. Then you have to specify the number of items. So it will start from 0, colon, and then 2. If you do that, what will happen? See, you can access the first two terms in this particular fashion, first two items basically. So here, whenever you define the range, remember that only the first value will be included, the second value will not be included. First value and whatever is there inside within those values, those items will be included, but only the last value will not be included. So here, see, apple is 0th item, the index is 0, so this will be included. Banana lies between 0 and 2 because the index is 1. But here you have the index of 2, this 2 will not be included. So this is the way you can, access the first two items. Similarly, if you uh, can do this also, food, and then you want to access the last two items only. So you will start from 1 and then 2. Or you can, write like this also. So this will give you the last two items. Start from 1 and then whatever you have till the end, that will be there. Or you can do this open-ended thing also can be done. So see, colon, and then write 2. Close it. So in this way, you can use this thing, right? So here you have only 3 index. That is why these are the only possibilities. But when you have a larger, set of values or set of items, you can, use it in your own advantage, right? So this is how you extract the values or access the values in a list. Oh, now let us see what else we can do. We can change the item value basically. Next thing is to change the item value. For that, what you have to do, you can do this simply using the index again. Let me take another list. Suppose this list is the list now, and here I take some values. Suppose I take mango. Suppose I take orange. Suppose I take kiwi. Right? So this is a list. Then in this list, Suppose you want to change the orange value, right? Suppose you want to change the orange value to banana. Then what you do? Simply write the index here, then equate, and then write the thing that you want to write. And then if you print the list, this list, then you will have this. See, the initial list has mango, banana, and mango, orange, and kiwi. Once you change the list index, so you can change the index to here, you can write 2 also. If you write it to this, here it will be changed, right? In this way, you can change the item in a list, change the value of the item in a list. Now, this can be done for a range of values as well. Suppose in this list, you define this 1 colon 2, and you want to write, suppose I want to add apple here, and I want to add cherry here. Close it and then print. Print this list. Now see what will happen. Now see, if you do this, the length of the list is changed now. Initially the length was 3, now the length has increased to 4 because you have added 2 items here. See, if the number of items that you have added is greater than the number of already existing items, then the length of the list is changed. Initially, what I have done is that I have only interchanged a single item, and I have also entered a single item basically. Instead of orange, I have written banana here. So the length is not changed. The length of the list is still 3 here. But here what I have done, instead of this particular item, mango is there. Instead of orange, I wanted to write apple here and cherry here. So only one value is changed, but I have added 2 new values now. So the length of the list will be changed, right? The next thing that we will do is how to append an item. Appending means adding the item at the end of the list, basically. So let's see append. How to append an item. Suppose you have my list. Take any 3 values. Suppose I call this A, then you have B, and then you have C. This is your list. In this list, you want to add the item Z also. So what you will do, simply write my list dot append bracket and write whatever you want to write. Now, if you print my list, so see the new list will have this added item D here. So append is simply used to add an item to the end of the list. The ordering of the remaining things will be the same. See, that is why I have told you the ordered items. List means ordered items. The index of A is same, that is 0. Index of B is same, that is 1. And index of C is also same, that is 2. Only a new item is added with a separate order. So the existing values will not be changed. They will be unchanged, right? Now, again, what you can do, you can extend the list. Suppose you have 2 lists. Suppose this is one list. Let me copy it. This is suppose one list. Let me call it my list 2, say. This is my list 2, and then you can define another list 3, which is say D, E, and F. So this is the second list. Now what you can do, you can extend. So what you can do in this particular list, you can add this values as well, right? In the first list, if you want to add the values of the second list as well, you can use the extend method. You can use the extend method. So let's see, my list 2 dot extend. Now what you do, simply write the name of the second list. So my list 3 basically. And now if you print my list 2, let's see what happens. See, in this particular list, in the first list, you have all the added values. And you can do this for the second list as well. If you can write my list 3 dot extend my list 2 and then print my list say 3. See what happens. Now here you have initially you have DEF. This is the first list. Then this again is added, and I have added this 2 times because the name I haven't changed the name. That is why it is repeated twice. And the length is also changed, right? Extend will increase the length because you are adding the items of some other list. Now, the next thing that you can do is to remove some specific items from the list. So we have seen that how to access the items, how to add the items. Now we'll see how, and we have also seen how to change the value of the items. Now we'll see how to remove some items from the list. So let us see how to remove items from list. For that, simply use the remove method. This list has A, B, C. From here, I want to remove some particular item. So what you do, simply write this list dot remove and the name of the item. Suppose I want to remove A. And then print the list, print this list. If you do that, you get B and C, right? Simply, you can write the name of the item and simply you can remove it. Also, if you want to do this by the index of the item, then you have to use the pop method. So in this particular list only, suppose I want to remove the B item. B item has the index of 1. So simply what you can write pop, no, this list dot pop and then write the index. Here the index is 1. And then if you print the list, this list, then it will be simply okay. Uh, Only the list of items will be okay. This should have given us, let me change the name, this list 1. Okay, so see, initially we have removed this item A and that is why it is not working. Okay. This list 1 dot pop. Okay, see, let's see, we can create a new list. Suppose I write new list and take some numerical values here. Suppose I take 1, 2, and 3. Simple example. Now what you have to do, you want to remove some item. So simply write this new list, then dot pop and the index. Suppose I want to remove this. Print new list. If you do that, now see it's working. Here you have some problem in the names of the list. I should have taken another list. So see here you have a new list where you pop the index number. So here you can do the same thing. You can vary the index number. If you write 0, it will be only 2 and 3. If you put 2 here, it will be only 1 and 2. Right? This is how you remove the thing. And if you only write pop, then what will happen? See, suppose this is the list that we are talking about, new list dot pop, and I have not written any of the index number here. And then if you print this new list, then see what happens. It will remove only the last item. So only the last items will be removed here. See. So again, initially, again, there is some issue in the name. It should remove the last item only. So let's see. New list 1. Suppose I create a new list and I write 6, 7, and 8. Suppose this is a new list, and what I do, new list 1 dot pop, and I never mention any index. So if you print this new thing, new list 1, if you print this, see what will happen. Only the last item will be removed. So if you use only the pop without mentioning any index, then what will happen? Only the last item will be removed. That is the case here, 6 and 7, right? Now also what you can do, you can use the del keyword in order to delete this thing. So if you write new list, say 5, suppose I take a name Apple and I take some values 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is a list. Now if I write del is a keyword, del new list 5, and then you mention the index. Suppose I mention the 0th index, and then I print the new list 5. So if you do that, again you see only the first index will be gone. So then del keyword can also be used to remove specific values. Also what you can do, you can delete the entire list using this del keyword. So new list is the same. Suppose I call it new list 1, 1, and then you use the entire list name, new list 11. Suppose you do that, so see, and then print, and then you print the new list 1. Okay, so you don't need to write this, only del. If you delete this, there will be no existence of this list itself. So print new list 1 will be not defined because there is no such list existing. So it will delete the entire list. See, the name new list 11 is not defined because there is no such list. This entire list will be deleted now. So you don't need to write anything more. And the final thing that I want to write, so let me remove this then. And the final thing that I want to mention is how to clear the list. Clear the list. Clear means that the list remains. Here in del, what happens is that the entire list is gone. The name of the list is also not defined. The values that are taken by the list is also not defined. But if you mention the clear statement, the clear method, then what will happen? The list will stay, but the items that are there in the list, that will be removed. So let me create a list. Call it list only. No, list 1. Some other name. New list. New list, say 2. And you take 2 values, apple and banana. These are the 2 things that you have. And now what do? New list 2 dot clear. And then you print. Here the print statement will be defined. New list. So if you do that, see what happens? Only the list remains. Only the list remains, but the items that are there in the list that are gone, that are cleared. Right? So this is all from my side today. Let me give you a quick recap of whatever we have learned today. So we started with what is the list in Python. We have stated that list are the variables that are used to store multiple items in a single variable. And we have said that it is one of the 4 built-in data types that are used to store collections of data. What are the other 3? Other 3 are tuples, sets, and dictionary. These are the other 3 types of built-in data types that we'll discuss in our successive videos. Lists are created using square brackets. This is an example of a list. And here what we have said, we have printed the list and we have seen that not only string values, a list can be composed of multiple data types at the same time. It could be string values, it could be integer values, it could be decimal values, or float values, or it could be Boolean values as well. True and false values are also permitted. Now there are certain features of this list What are the features? All the items in the list are ordered. They have specific index numbers. They are changeable. We can change the length of the list and also the index of the values, and they allow duplicate values in the same list. You can allow the same item multiple times. Only the order of the index will be changed, but the items will be allowed, right? Now in this fashion you can find out the length of the list. Now, how to access them? Access can only be done using the unique identification order, that is the index basically. Index will help you to access each items of the list. You can, change the item values. You can add new values also in this fashion. Also, you can use the append thing. Append will help you to add new value at the end of the list. The existing values will not be changed. Only at the end of the list, you will be some values added. Then you can remove items also from the list. You have the two methods. You have remove method or you have the pop method. In remove method, you have to specifically write the values or the item names basically. No index will be there. But in case of pop, if you use the pop method, you have to mention the index. If you don't mention the index, only the last value will be gone, right? And finally, we have learned about the difference between del keyword and the clear keyword. Del keyword will delete the entire list. There will be no existence in the list. That is why when I wrote the print statement, it showed an error basically, because this list is not defined anymore. That is why you cannot print anything. But if you have the clear method, in clear method the list will be there. See here the square brackets are there, list will be there, but the items that are there in the list, that will be gone, right? So I hope that you find this video helpful. If you do, please give me a like and do subscribe to this channel in Economist, and I'll keep on bringing these useful videos for you. Thank you for your time.